little harder, stack those sats, don't stack the dollar.
Right then. Now, I've been thinking recently, because I've been into Bitcoin now for a year. First Bitcoin purchase I made was this time last year, and I'd been researching it and looking into it for a few months before that. And I was thinking, how have I changed in that last year? And the first thing which came to mind was how it's affected my spending habits. Now, I've been trying to obviously earn a little bit more, increase the income, but at the same time I've been very vigilant of my spending and my outgoings as well, because now for the first time really ever, I've got something that I can save in that actually stores value, it holds value, so it's worth saving. So it's worth thinking long term and thinking, well, you know, do I need this thing for 50 quid, or shall I hold it in Bitcoin for 50 quid, which might be worth 2, 3, 4 times in however many years. So for the first time I've got that, and it's really highlighted some, let's say, deficiencies with my spending. Because obviously wherever you spend, wherever you put your money, that's where you put in your energy, the time and energy that you've worked for. You know, so it shows you what kind of person you are and what you value, really. And when I first set out, I was like, right, I have Starbucks. When I go to work, I have a Starbucks. But I'll stop that, because that's like, I mean, Starbucks is crazy now. It's like $6.50 for a coffee, which is just insane. But that was an easy stop. That was one where it's like, well, I'll just take my own coffee. I don't need Starbucks. That was an easy stop. But there's been a few areas where I've been like, this is not quite as easy as I thought. For example, you know, I've always been a collector of things, you know, a consumer of things. When I was a kid, I'd have like Pokemon cards, and I would collect coins and stamps and all kinds of stuff. And then as a teenager, that moved on to like CDs, DVDs, vinyl records, and recently my thing has been books. And you know, to be fair, I am reading now probably more than ever in my entire life. But I'm also buying more books than ever before in my entire life, still. And I've noticed, I'm like, right, I've got this goal to hit 1 Bitcoin. So these book purchases, which are like 20 quid, 10 quid, 30 quid, you know, do I really need this book? And I still do this thing, and I'm sure, you know, some people can relate, where you're browsing for a bargain. You're browsing eBay or Vinted or Amazon, and you're like, oh yeah, what's new? What's new? Where's the bargain? And then you find something you like, oh yeah, you know, let's make an offer on this. It's 20 quid. Let's offer 15 quid. Yeah, this is the cheapest one there. And then you put it in your basket, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna buy it. Buy it, yes. And you get that little dopamine hit. You know, you get that little spike, like, oh yes, that feels good. And then you see the postman pull up outside your house, you're like, oh, has he got something for me? And he's like, yes, he's coming to my house. And then you get it, and you're like, yes, you know, I'm buzzing, I've got this thing, I've got this new shiny thing. And then you go, oh, okay, cool. Then you put it on the shelf, and it gathers dust. And you know, that's something that, since saving in Bitcoin and being very hyper aware, hyper vigilant of, you know, the holes in my ship's hub or whatever, you know, where's the leaking, that's really highlighted that, because I know I do that. I know for a fact I do that. And you know, there's some books where it's like, is this going to benefit me Am I going to read it? Okay, yeah, I am. But others, it's like there's something else going on there where it's just, I've just got to buy something. I've just got to buy something. There's this little dopamine kick that I need. And so it's highlighted that, like, this has been a hard thing to stop. What's going on there? You know? So now I need to focus on that even more, thinking there's something else going on there. This kind of compulsion, this impulsive consumption, which probably everybody, maybe, I don't know, something I've noticed in me. Right then, now this video is sponsored by Bitbox, who offer hardware wallets for your Bitcoin to keep your private keys safe and secure in your own self-custody and away from any third-party risk that keeping your coins on an exchange may have. Now, I use Bitbox because it's Swiss made, open source, super easy to use. And if you are looking for a hardware wallet to keep your coins safe in your own self-custody, use the link in the description and you'll get 5% off. See you later. And there was another thing where I started focusing on food more. And I mean, I try to eat well anyway, but sometimes I might get like to 8 or 9 PM and I think, oh, I just need a snack. And the other day, I went to the shop and I got 3 bags of crisps, because crisps are my thing. Actually, just thinking now, this video is not really about Bitcoin at all. I'm just waffling about my day, but there we go, whatever. Anyway, I got these 3 bags of crisps and they weren't big, they were just standard size bags of crisps, and they were £1.35 each. So I got to think, £4 5p for some crisps. And I remember thinking, £4 for some crisps. Like, first of all, that's mental. That price has gone up like mad, but that's the standard price for crisps now. Second of all, I'm meant to be saving cash. Like, I'm meant to be having this goal of hitting 1 Bitcoin. Like, £4 for some crisps. But I do it like twice a week. Just go to the shop, oh, I just fancy a little snack, you know. Impulsion, whatever, compulsion, whatever the term is. I'll just buy these bags of crisps, you know. You would have thought that would be an easy one to stop, you know, like the Starbucks at work was. But it's actually not. You know, when you get to that point of the night, 8, you're like, oh, I just fancy a little, you know, got some bags of crisps. There's something going on there, which means that I've lost focus of this long-term goal, and I've reverted back to just this short-term kick, short-term dopamine. So there's something going on there as well, which needs a little bit more attention. And I was thinking, right, so £4 for a little snack. Say I do it twice a week, that's £8 a week. Over the course of a year, what's that? 400 quid? 400 quid a year, just on some little, you know, impulsive snacks from the shop. And I'm doing this long term. So let's say 5 years. You know, what's that? Did I say 400 quid? 2,000 quid over the course of 5 years. You know, if this isn't nipped in the bud now, in 5 years' time, I would have spent 2,000 quid on just little bags of crisps at the shop, which would have been, I mean, how many bags of crisps is that? 50, 100, wait, I don't know, hundreds, thousands probably. So I know for a fact that in 5 years' time, my life will be way better off if I didn't have just that little impulsion to go and get some bags of crisps from the shop, you know, twice a week, a little snack. Because in 5 years' time, I would have £2,000 more that potentially could have been put into Bitcoin. I would have consumed 1,000 less bags of seed oil crisps, so I'll be healthier. So it's this constant battle that I'm noticing between long-term thinking, which is what I'm trying to be, long-term, you know, benefits, versus this short-term little, you know, compulsive gremlin which is just going like, "Ah, I want it now, I want it now." Like since I've been doing this, I've noticed that battle between the two has been very much highlighted in those two things. There's probably other areas as well, but yeah, it's that high time preference person versus low time preference. It's that delayed gratification versus instant gratification, and that's a big battle. Like I'm naturally instant gratification, you know, but I know that that's not going to benefit me long term, and I'm trying to think long term. So it's this constant daily battle between the two, but that's what it's all about, isn't it? That's what it's all about. Nobody said this would be easy, and that'll do. That's enough waffle for today. I'll probably do some other videos about you know, things that have changed since I've got into Bitcoin and whatnot, because there's more to it than just bags of crisps and buying books. But anyway, that'll do for now. See you later.
Buy a little lower, try a little harder, stack those sats, don't stack the dollar. Buy a little lower, try a little harder, stack those sats, don't stack the dollar. Don't stack the dollar. Buy a little lower, try a little harder, stack those sats, don't stack the dollar. Don't stack the dollar. Buy a little lower, try a little harder, stack those sats, don't stack the dollar.